now from House Ways and Means. Look who's here, Congressman Greg Steube. It's a pleasure. It's wonderful to see you again, Congressman. So let's please have you sit tight for just a second. We'd like to get your reaction from President Trump. Watch this.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we, all of us together, win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. We will prevent the whole world from entering World War III.
Mr. President, in terms of NATO, there's people that believe that you want to get out of NATO. Is that what you want to do?
No, I just want them to pay their bills.
We're going to get to the NATO part in a second. So President Trump said he'll stop the war in Ukraine. How do you think he's going to stop the war in Ukraine? How could he do that?
He can reinstitute the policies that he had in place before Biden took office, like the sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Even Zelensky himself will tell you that opened up billions of dollars of revenue to Russia that then funded this war. There's a ton of economic sanctions to Iran that can be taken that the Biden White House has removed that opened up $6 billion to Iran. Iran and Russia and China all work together economically. There's a ton of economic things that can be done that were in place when Trump was president that Biden removed that he could reinstitute that would put huge economic pressure not just on Russia, but Iran as well.
Okay, then there's this. Politico is calling the NATO summit, quote, Mara NATO, reporting that European leaders now tailoring their message to Trump in preparation for he returns to the White House. You know, Trump said, I don't want to get rid of NATO. I just want them to pay their fair share. Congressman, it sounds like Trump just scored a victory with NATO because reportedly the NATO Secretary General Stoltenberg now says all 32 member nations of NATO, they're going to have to be spending, they're going to be required to spend a minimum 2% of their GDP on defense annually. This is going to be a requirement, not just an aspiration. Trump demanded that. Now they're doing it. Canada is included in the 9 nations not doing that. Is this a Trump victory here?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And what's interesting about this is you have world leaders that are part of NATO that are seeing that Trump's going to win in November, and they realize that they got to start paying their fair share, just like President Trump demanded when he was president and when he's going to get back into being president. Otherwise, he's going to require them to pay their fair share, or why is America footing the bill for all of these countries? So it's very interesting that world leaders are already reacting to the things that President Trump is saying 4 months before the election.
And now, Congressman, there's this. You're going to hear from Ian Bremmer. He's with the Eurasia Group on what world leaders are saying about Biden's decline behind the scenes. Let's get your reaction to this. Watch. We have a tech error there. Basically, let me just read it to you. Ian Bremmer was saying, quote, back in the Munich Security Conference in late February, they thought Biden would win. Over the last few months, it's a coin flip. Now they think he's going to lose. They see deterioration. They see him physically slowing down, repeating the same anecdote twice in meetings. It's not, and also not recognizing someone he knew quite well, and he had to be introduced to an ally again.
Yeah, this is things that Republicans have been saying for years. The White House has been lying to the American people that he's ready, that he's capable, that he's mentally capable. And you even have Democrats right here on Capitol Hill today calling into question whether he should be the nominee or not. That speaks a lot to the capability when people in your own party that are members of Congress are saying that they need to replace the top of the ticket because they're seeing that they're losing support with the American people, because finally the American people are seeing exactly what's been going on for the last couple of years. The lies coming out of the White House that he's capable and able to make decisions and is physically capable, and that's clearly not the case right now.
Congressman, what's your assessment on this from where you sit? You're in D.C., you're in the halls of Congress. What is going on with Democrats in Congress right now? What do you see happening in the Biden White House?
Yeah, even my conversations as of today with some of my Democratic colleagues, they obviously don't have faith and confidence in the president, but they feel like they all have to kind of rally behind him because he's obviously their leader right now. He got the delegates going into this election. It'd be very hard to switch at this point in time, but there's also other members of Congress that want him to switch because they realize even some Democratic polling is showing we may take 20 or 25 seats in the House in this upcoming election because Biden is so weak, which is great things for Republicans. It's great things for the country. It's great things for President Trump coming into November. But obviously, if you're a Democrat, that's very concerning to them.
Congressman Steube, thanks for joining us. Great to have you on.
Yeah, anytime. Good to see you.